Director, sir, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, sir. Thank
Sir,
you,
your
sir.
voice is breaking.
Yes, Sajal, please start. Please start the meeting. Start the session.
Let's start.
Hello.
Should I start? Am I audible?
Yes, Sajal, are you there?
We can hear you.
Yes,
I
sir.
can
Am
hear
I
you.
audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you're
Yes, we can
audible. Are
hear.
you using a headphone?
No. Okay, cool.
Please use that. Your voice is like a little like a distant.
Low, actually.
Sir, I think Zoom is better.
Yeah, we'll sort it out from the next session. Please bear with us today.
Sir, please start the meeting. Please start the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Sajal, please start.
So sorry for the inconvenience, everybody. A very good evening to all the dignitaries and the participants present today. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to this online short-term course on applications of machine learning and deep learning in data science being organized by the Center for Continuing Education, NIT Warangal, in collaboration with Department of Mathematics, the Venkateswara College, University of Delhi. 21st century has witnessed great discoveries in the world of technology. The global economy is changing continuously. Organizations are generating and capturing trillions of bytes of information about the customers and operations. And the technology platforms for analyzing this data are evolving incredibly fast. This explosion of complexity, data, and technology is disrupting industry and creating new opportunities. This is the power of technology. But understanding technology alone isn't enough. Organizations all around the world need people who understand this newly deep, complex, interconnected, and data driven world. People who can take data and transform it into a powerful strategic asset. People who can deeply understand data, its potential, and its limitation, who can frame complex, deep data driven business problems, analyze data with the right statistical techniques, employ latest analytic tools and methods. With an aim to develop an understanding and knowledge in solving the real world problems in AI, machine learning, and deep learning applications, we welcome you all to this comprehensive 5-day course. Firstly, I would like to invite Mr. Anirban Chatterjee, Association in Charge, Trisectrix, the Mathematics Association, Sri Venkateswara College, University of Delhi, to give a brief outline of this exclusive 5-day course.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, again, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience today. So basically, I welcome you all on this 1-week national level online short-term course of application of machine learning and deep learning in data science. So let me give you a brief understanding of the course. So first, we'll start with the basic understanding of Python. Then next session will be natural language processing, which focuses on helping computers to understand the way that humans write and speak. Basically, it deals with a lot of unstructured data. And after that, it will be recommender system, which predicts ratings. Like a user might give to a specific item. For example, Netflix, YouTube, Tinder, Amazon, these are all example of recommender system. Next, it will be artificial intelligence and machine learning. It will be introduction of AI and ML. So we'll be discussing different models in ML like supervised and unsupervised learning and linear regression, logistic regression, etc. After that, exploratory data analysis, which basically deals with different kinds of graphs and charts of data. Basically, it will represent the data Okay, so here we'll learn to use different libraries of Python for drawing these graphs and charts. After that, convolution in neural networks. So it's a class of deep neural network, most commonly applied to analyze visual imagery, followed by a hands-on session using Python. At last, we'll conclude our course with a session on transfer learning and efficient net, which basically focuses on storing knowledge gained while solving one problem and applying it to a different but related problem, followed by a hands-on session using Python. So this is our tentative outline of this short-term course. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to invite CCE in charge, NIT Warangal, Dr. Raju Bhutia, to please address the gathering.
Yeah. Good evening, Honorable Director, Professor N.V. Ramanarao Garu, Professor C. Sheila Reddy, Principal, SVC College, New Delhi, Head CSC, Dr. Ravichandra Garu, Mr. Anirban Chatterjee, Coordinator, SVC College, New Delhi. Participants, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all the participants for 3 FDP, 5 days National Online Short-Term Program in Python Programming for Beginners, Python for AI, ML, and applications of machine learning and deep learning in data science with 350 participants. Center for Continuing Education have conducted 98 short-term courses, and today we are conducting 3 programs, a total of 101 program, and 8 more program need to be conducted in the coming months of March and April 2022. Total number of participants trained till today is under CCE 9,450. CCE is continuously making more efforts to train more number of participants in latest and emerging areas in all the branches of engineering, science, management, and technology. CCE is continuously training the participants in all the emerging areas like IoT, cyber security, and related areas in all the branches of NIT Warangal and outside the NIT Warangal. CCE NIT Warangal making efforts to train the faculty, scholars, students, and creating better opportunities for their better career growth and development in latest and trending areas with the best faculty from industry and academia. Many programs are yet to be conducted in coming months. I request the participants to visit our website continuously and register for the upcoming programs and register the same. We have conducted as many as 101 short-term courses, and all this has happened with our beloved director continuous encouragement and suggestions and support in each and every program. Without our director's support, it is impossible to reach 100 plus programs. Thank you, Director Sir. Continuous encouragement and support from our head of the department also. Many more engineering science colleges are showing interest to conduct the short-term courses in association with CCE NIT Warangal. CCE is making more and major efforts in training the participants in all the latest and emerging technologies, and CCE charges a minimum and affordable registration fees and training the participants with a high-quality programs with major concern towards the practicals. CCE also interested and inviting the applications from various professional institutes to conduct online FDP short-term courses in association with various engineering, MCA, MBA, Polytechnic, anywhere in India. I request the participants to utilize this opportunity, and 90% attendance is important to issue the certificate, and I request the participants to not miss any of the sessions. We have made lot of efforts and gathered good resource persons. I wish all the best to the participants. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Dr. Ravi Chandran, HOD of Computer Science and Engineering Department, NIT Warangal, to please say a few words.
Good evening all of you. Good evening our today's chief guest of today's function, our beloved director, Professor N.V. Ramanarao Garu. And today the guest of honor that Sheila Reddy garu, the principal of SVC College Engineering, and the CC coordinator or Raju Bhukia, Dr. Raju Bhukia, who is meticulously involved in conducting many workshops in the department. And apart from this, Mr. Chatterjee, Anirban Chatterjee, who is also the association in charge for this this particular conduction of these workshops and all from the SVC College. Once again, good evening, all of you. The computer science department is actually doing well in almost all the conducting of these workshops. Almost it has completed 30 years, more than 30 years, and this NIT Warangal. So we have a good number of faculty who has very good hands-on experiences with various disciplines of computer science, and also having much more research experiences in shooting, basically in conducting the FDPs as well as research guidances and all. So the department has also has MOUs with the prestigious companies like Microsoft, TCS, and Amazon, Infosys, and TRDC, and Accenture, and all. So we have not only the tie-up with these companies. Actually, we used to have some sort of a research programs along with these companies. So along with this, the department continuously guiding a very good number of research students. Almost all in the different disciplines, mostly in the distributed systems, AI and machine learning, software engineering, data mining, security, and all whatnot, and so algorithms, cryptography, crypto analysis, a very diversified areas in computer science and engineering. And as mentioned by Dr. Raju, that our department mostly feels in conducting of the laboratory sessions, because we believe in the practical side. Whatever we teach, we think that that should be practical applicable, or else there is no point in studying all these courses. Computer science is mostly believed that whatever we teach, we need to have a practical exposure. Otherwise, there is no point. And coming to this particular the stream of AI learning, machine learning, and Python, and all these things, I request the participants to understand the concepts thoroughly, go through the programming. Programming is very, very important. Actually, the computational thinking and programming and usage of these machine learning tools and mechanisms is very much important. Nowadays, it is widely used in the different disciplines, and in many varieties in security, in medical discipline, medical domain, even in the what you can say other way, in the supermarkets or share markets, bullion, everywhere, wherever we need prediction, growth, understanding about the data, we have this particular machine learning tools is playing a very crucial role. So I request all the participants to go through the course thoroughly, understand the core concepts. I hope Dr. Raju has maintained the curriculum properly, defined the curriculum properly with utmost quality and all these things, and also has kept the laboratory sessions with other participants also. So I wish once again all the best for the next 5 days to undergo this particular course and have a great learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Dr. S. Venkat Kumar, Vice Principal, Shri Venkateshwara College, University of Delhi, to please say a few words.
Sir, there is a green button in front of you named a mic. So please click on that. So it will unmute yourself. It will unmute you.
It is a red button. Red button.
There's a mic button, sir.
It's a red button.
Okay. Sir, please take out the headphone. I think you'll be audible then only. Take out the headphone, sir. Hello. No, sir, I can see you here. I can see you here. Sir, please. Okay.
Okay, now?
Yes, sir, you're audible now.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're audible. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry that, a guy who is to be taught about all these things, I am perhaps the first one to be taught about all these technological issues. Maybe I'm on and off onto that particular thing. And I sincerely apologize for my inability to just walk in at the time as it has to be done. However, the course that is being contemplated with NIT Warangal is very much interesting and very much the need of the hour. And I think there are good number of students who are participating in this particular workshop come training session for understanding these machine learning and data sciences related things. I'm really highly appreciative of the efforts of Department of Mathematics of Sri Venkateswara College, New Delhi. And I seek the apologies of you all because our principal madam had to rush immediately for some kind of emergency, medical emergency if I have to state. And that's the reason why I'm here deputizing her. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. Yes.
Audible. Okay, right.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
So, yeah. So the initiative is really appreciative because the present day requirement is trying to understand the more quality data and also to understand the analysis, the pattern of analysis, evaluating the data that is on your hand. Having simply the data perhaps is not sufficient. One should understand how this data can be used and what time it takes us for us to collect this data, as well as to what purpose we are using this data is another issue. So therefore, this is a very precise topic at this hour, and I am really grateful to NIT Warangal, the Computer Sciences Department, for having associated us into their activity and given us the chance. And Venkateswara College, New Delhi is highly thankful to you, sir. And the TIC, the teacher in charge of the Department of Mathematics, Sri Venkateswara College, Deepti, Dr. Deepti, also I should appreciate that such kind of activity has been planned by the department for their students and other interested people in this particular sphere. So therefore, the 1 week program that's being slated should be of immense knowledge enriching and also a kind of training to the participants, and it will be added perhaps if they have some inputs about these things. Any learning process is all the time worth. There can be nothing to be told that nothing is important or nothing is required to be learned. So as you learn, as you deliberate, as you discuss with your peer, you will be in fact increasing the capacity to absorb more and more. And critically, that is very important. And this is an effort in that direction. And Venkateshwara College is proudly getting itself associated with one of the leading or reputed technological institute like the NIT Warangal, which previously used to be called as the Regional Engineering College, REC Warangal. So therefore, with these few opening remarks from the side of us, I wish this program all the best and wish all the participants that they would have a livelier and lovely 1 week program. Attend it to the fullest, and devote yourself to all the exercises that you are asked to do, because such a thing is theoretically reading is different, practically doing is different. So therefore, I wish you all the good and all the best. And Arnab, very much thankful for having had me, and Bert, say, for having guided me also to walk into this meeting, because I've been on to Zoom and other things, and this is the first time I am onto this particular platform. So yet you have guided me properly. I think I have not disappointed you that way, having joined you. And all the best to all your friends in the department. And once again, welcome to Venkateshwara, the association with NIT. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to invite Dr. N.V. Ramana Rao, Director of NIT Warangal, to please address the gathering.
Thank you, all the participants. The Vice Principal, Dr. Venkat of SPC New Delhi, my colleague, Dr. Raju Bukia, Dr. Sheila Reddy, she's not there, of course, but I would like to acknowledge Principal of SPC University of Delhi, Mr. Anirban Chatterjee, Associate in Charge, Department of Mathematics, SPC University of Delhi, my own colleague in the Department of Computer Science and Head Computer Science Department, Dr. Ravi Chandran, and Dr. other participants who have joined. I see more than 213 participants who are logged in this particular workshop. 3 workshops, in fact. One on Python for beginners, other for Python for AI and ML, and application of machine learning and deep learning in data science, being jointly organized by the Center for Continuing Education, NIT Warangal, and the Department of Mathematics, Sri Venkateshwara College, University of Delhi. It's indeed a great moment for all of us to have crossed the milestone of 100. So today this is 101th course being run by CCE Continuing Education. For NIT Warangal, I would like to congratulate Dr. Raju Bukia, who has been very passionate about conducting these courses, and most of these courses are having very good feedback. He has been able to train more than 9,450 so far, and I'm sure he will cross the 10,000 mark very soon. As he told me that he has got 8 more courses in the pipeline in the next 1 month. So this is very interesting, the topic of these areas of thrust areas, and it is important that institutes like NIT Warangal should handhold and try to develop the faculty who are actually interested in these areas so that our students get the benefit. I'm also happy to inform you that NIT Warangal has been ranked very, very high in terms of the teaching, learning, and also we have been ranked very high in the NIRF. Most of you are aware that we actually are doing quite well in terms of many of the things in terms of research and teaching. I would like you to also visit, now things are improving anyway, and also make sure that to interact with our faculty. We are also willing to do joint projects and other things. And NIT Warangal has got a very strong research department, and we do research not only in computer science, but we also have other thrust areas like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics, quantum computing, data sciences, cyber security, design, and augmented reality and virtual reality. These are some of the areas where we are very, very strong, and I'm sure all of us can really take advantage of these things over a period of time and make sure that you get the maximum benefit in terms of the faculty. I'm happy that Dr. Rajabukia has made arrangements to get faculty from IITs and NITs for this course. I wish the participant a very happy learning and wish you all the best for this course. Thank you very much and good luck to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before moving forward, I would like to request Mr. Anirban Chatterjee, Association in Charge, Trust Sectrix, the Mathematics Association, Sri Venkateshwara College, University of Delhi, to kindly extend a vote of thanks.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I thank Director of NIT Warangal, Dr. N.V. Ramana Rao, and Principal of Sri Venkateshwara College, Professor C. Sheila Reddy, Vice Principal Dr. Venkat Kumar for this collaboration. I thank Dr. Ravichandran, Head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I also thank Dr. Raju Bhuika, in charge of CC of NIT Warangal, for this short-term course. It wouldn't have been possible without his immense cooperation. And I thank all the participants for registering in this course, and I wish them success. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. N.V. Ramana Rao, Director of NIT Warangal, to kindly commence today's session with his talk on online teaching methodologies.
How much time do I have for my lecture?
Sir, 40 minutes, sir, up to 6 o'clock.
Okay, I'll take up to 6 o'clock. Please allow me to share my screen. I request
Yes, sir.
host to allow me to share the screen, please.
Sir, just a second, sir.
Yeah. Make me presenter, please. I request the organizer to make me presenter to allow me to share my screen.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Prasad?
Sir, yes, sir, I have shared. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sir, please.
Okay. Okay, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And also, I'm also audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is what I'll be talking for the next 40 minutes on effective online teaching. In fact, we are all online, and this is very, very important, and that is what has made us possible. We should all appreciate, that the corona has taught us many new things, and especially new circumstances and realities has required new initiative from all of us in the teaching profession, and we have quickly shifted to what we call as e-learning. And you will find very interestingly that this e-learning has made us all available to do many of the things. In fact, the recent rise in the epidemics and the pandemic has necessitated the traditional and in-person modes of education not possible. Therefore, we have to look for alternative modes of quality education. In fact, all of us, being the teaching profession, require suitable training and development to be effective online educators. Otherwise, we are not doing what we are expected to do, and that is the biggest problem that all of us continue to face even today. So let us see what we can do as an online scenario. we start with the assumption that it cannot be assumed that a good teacher in a traditional classroom will automatically be a good teacher in an online, because these two are totally different scenarios. So what we need to do is, so this is a traditional classroom where the teacher is there, the chalk and talk is there, teacher is facing the students, and students are facing the teacher, and there's an eye-to-eye contact. So this is the ideal situation. But now we have moved to a different scenario where, in fact, everything is in the web, and teacher is sitting somewhere, students are sitting somewhere, and all these things are in a different zone, and we are accessing to World Wide Web. And you will find that, because of this, there's a lot of changes in the teaching and learning, the way we are doing and the way things are at present. In fact, I'm seeing 9 trends, that is going to take place and has already taken place in the teaching and learning, and we all of us now will have to revamp our curriculum to suit this. So what are 9 trends? Students want education at diverse time and place. I'm sure you all be sitting in different places, probably in the comforts of your home or somewhere, and trying to understand this. Everybody wants a personalized learning and a one-to-one learning. He doesn't want, when you go to a hotel, you have a menu. It's personalized. You choose what you want, like that. And then you have a free choice of courses. You can choose a course that you want to learn. And you want to learn by doing, mostly project-based courses. The other 5 are, you want applied experience, because for topics like artificial and machine learning, unless you learn by doing, you cannot actually learn these subjects. We call that as experiential learning. And many times, since we are dealing with data science, a lot of data interpretation is required. Today, we are all flooded with data, and the worldwide COVID data has told so many things. And then what do we need to do? How we need to handle is all what is required. And the way we examine will change completely. We don't know how to examine things, and we are actually in a situation that we can't actually start. One minute, please. So, teachers' role is changing. We were more of a mentors. We are not just simply teachers. We have become a facilitator or a guide rather than simply teachers. And so the curriculum is going to revamp in 5 different ways. How do we want to do that? We should create a curriculum with multiple options. That means create a curriculum with lots of ways to learn the same content. For example, topics like machine learning and deep learning can be taught in different ways. So you have to do this similarly. We have to have multiple content density level depending on the user's need. For example, if my background is civil engineering, I want to learn to a certain level. If my background is mathematics, I want to learn a different level. So create a curriculum with lots of levels to allow learners to go deeper. And then time is totally, so I have to create a curriculum with multiple time constraint options, because diverse time and place is what I told you, the trend. So you have to create a curriculum that can be consumed at any time and where. You have to create a curriculum that can be consumed anywhere. Today, global this online thing has made possible. If you are here in the US, also people can attend the same lecture simultaneously. And then why do we require all this? This is very, very important. Why do we require all this? Especially because we realize, that we are all, in the profession of teaching, and we have typically in a class you've got 60 students. So I took a survey, what is the perspective of you joining a particular course? For example, for this particular course, if there are 300 participants, each of them will join with a different perspective. So when I did a survey, 20% of them said I want to go for research. The other 21% said I want to go for higher education. The other 21% said I want to go for employment. The other 20% I want to set my own industry. So like that, the other 20% are different things. So these are all people coming to the class with different perspectives. So we have to create a curriculum with lots of perspective to address the needs of different learners. So that is very, very important. So in fact, there are several problems with the traditional teaching, and you will find that today's learners' attention is very limited. I'm addressing, and I'm sure, after 15 minutes, I cannot teach catch attention of the student. I have to engage them. Unless I engage them, I cannot capture their attention. So this is very engagement of student is the biggest challenge all of us teacher will have. And you see typical class here, and a student is lost interest, and here student is sleeping, somebody is looking somewhere else, and all these things. And then learners can easily be overburdened, and we can be easily overburdened with many of the things. And you will find, that we are all actually in different scenario, and we are all overburdened with so many things. And you will find, that there's too much information now available in the web and in the courseware and the open educational courses, the MOOCs, web. And the student is really confused what to be focused, what not to be focused. So therefore, we all have a challenge to deal with as a teacher, and students also have a challenge to learn. So the teaching learning process needs to undergo a lot of changes. In fact, let us see how the transformation in teaching and learning has taken place over a period of time. In fact, we started with the Gurukula system, and we went to the chalk and talk, and with the advent of several digital tools, we quickly moved on to online without much delay and difficulty. But then we are not being able to do many of the things that we wanted to do. So let us see, as a faculty in a college or in an institute or in an engineering college, what are you expected to do? First of all, foremost, you actually do teaching. We are all in the teaching profession. So technology-based teaching and learning, and since you are all in higher education, it's also important for us to integrate research into our teaching. So, if you don't integrate research, or if you don't integrate latest developments in your field, like computer science, into teaching, then you make our students outdated, they'll not be employable. So this is the problem that most of us will face very soon. So therefore, we need to address these issues very clearly and very soon. So, in fact, how teaching and learning has evolved over a period of time. Very interestingly, if you observe, we started with the chalk and talk. So you had a blackboard or a green board or a whiteboard where the teacher used to use the chalk and face the student and then address. So the boundaries are only blackboard, and beyond that she could not go. Then came the PowerPoint presentation with the tools, and these PowerPoint presentations became very powerful. You could do videos, audios, and create very interesting lectures to make the students learn, engage them, and make them really very effective. Then came, the transparency slides and overhead projectors. I don't know how many of you have seen this device. It's a slide projector where you insert slides and project on the screen, but now this has become almost obsolete. You find that nobody is actually using it. And then came, the whiteboard and markers. So whatever you write on the whiteboard can be converted to a digital content and can be shared through email and other things, to all the things. And then came the computer-assisted web-based learning tool. So you have all the tools. Then came the video conferencing tools like one-to-many, many-to-one. Easily you can address so many people. Then came the e-classrooms, where we used to only talk to the computers, and there is most of the modern classrooms, what we call. Then came the wireless technology, where without wires, actually, so you can sit anywhere, even in a garden, and learn, because you don't have to be wired. Everything is wire-free, Wi-Fi, what we call. And that is what helped us in teaching learning. And from there, we have moved to something, a new technology has come, like innovative technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality, which will make you really feel that you are doing. I'll just give you one example of augmented reality and virtual reality, of how it is and what it can do to all of us. You will find So like that, many technologies have come actually, which are actually replacing the way we learn. So we as a teachers should leverage technology to enhance the learning experience. You will find, excuse me. So we'll have to leverage technology to enhance the learning experience. How do we do that? So first of all, we have to improve communication through effective technology use. Then we have to enhance collaboration through digital learning spaces. Now, unless you collaborate with the student while teaching and learning, you will find that you cannot make the teaching effective. You have to foster active discussions. And you have to enhance visualization and presentation. If you don't enhance your visualization presentation, definitely you cannot make it interesting. So that is the biggest challenge we all have as teachers, in fact. So always keep in mind that today technology is not a miraculous cure for educational ailments. In fact, effectiveness of technology is directly proportional to the competence and the intention of the user. So technology is like antibiotics. Right dose is helpful, but wrong dose is harmful. Technology is not only tools, but includes techniques also. These are so many things that you have, and you will find that these are things that will happen soon. In fact, today we are addressing a different set of students. Students are having changing attitudes. Today, students are what we call as digital natives. They are mostly hooked on to their mobile and laptops. So how do we make sure that whatever they are there, we can actually make them learn very, very effectively, and also make sure that they do very well in terms of. So what do? We have a changing audience, in fact, and this changing audience, they are mostly visual learners. They learn by seeing and doing. They are multitaskers. They can do several tasks simultaneously. They have got very short attention span. Today, to keep the attention of the students beyond 15 minutes is very, very difficult. They use technology to communicate, and especially like social medias and forums and video calls and all that. And they are good analysts. The moment you post something data, they actually start analyzing, and you will find that they are very good in these matters. In fact, there are a lot of teaching methods that are changing over a period of time. A lot of research has gone into how much what we teach actually is being written by the student, and it has been found that out of what we teach, by just simply lecturing, the students are able to retain only 5%. In fact, by asking them to go to the library after the lecture, maybe 10% retention is possible. Or you show some nice pictures like I'm doing, 20% retention may be possible. Alternatively, demonstrate like you are doing it in a lab, then 30%. But these are very less, out of 100%, only 30% is retained, no good. The other way of allowing good retaining is to actually make sure that, throw a topic and allow group discussion among them. So this is a very good way of learning. Or ask them to do some practice or learning by doing, or what we call as experiential learning. Or ask them to teach others. Teaching others is a very, very good way of learning. And in fact, that is what is required for most of the teachers. And you will find that you learn. And while you're teaching, you learn many things. They always say to teach is to learn twice. And you find that sometimes your topics, you're teaching, you're not confident. The more you teach, you start learning better. So this is how. So what I've done is this learning pyramid I've divided into 2 parts. The first part is a dark blue line. You can see in the middle of the triangle. And this is called as average attention rates. Above the dark blue line, there are 4 methods like lecturing, reading, audio-visual, and demonstration. These are called as passive teaching methods. And below the dark blue line, you have methods like group discussion, practice, and teaching. These are called as participatory or active teaching methods. So let us now map this to what we are actually doing. We are actually doing in the day-to-day things, and you will find what we are actually doing is lecture is like a traditional classroom, what we do in a traditional classroom. Reading is going to libraries, audio-visual is to modern classrooms, the other thing. Demonstration is possible in a lab. But these three methods, group discussion, practice, and teaching, is only possible through a flipped classroom model. So what is a flipped classroom? Soon I try to explain now. In fact, what I've done is, for the sake of teaching and learning, I've divided classrooms into 5 main categories that we are all familiar with. The first is a traditional classroom. It's very similar to the way you and I were taught. So there is a blackboard, and the students are facing the teacher, and teacher is facing the students. And so what is the problem with this blackboard? The knowledge transfer is there from faculty to student, and lectures are done during the class time on white or blackboard. So class time normally will be 1 hour or 50 minutes duration, and you have to spend your lecture, everything only during that time. And you will find that assignments are given outside of the class, and it leaves little or no time for interaction between students and teachers. Any assignment they give, they have to do it outside the class, and many of them don't do it actually. And the main problem is no way faculty can share ideas beyond the whiteboard. So this is the problem that all of us actually face, and you will find that many of these things are happening because of the way we do things. Then coming to the next type of classroom, that is our modern classrooms. So what is modern classrooms? Yeah, everything is computer. You have display boards, you have screen projectors, and teachers can correspond to computers. So these are all, we call it as automated classrooms. You can allow multiple content sharing. Each screen could have multiple contents, different content, and you will find that this is something very, very similar. It's too much disclosure. And then you have projectors and displays for content sharing. And then you have document cameras, interactive whiteboards, etc. Then you have content sharing to help in enhancing the knowledge transfer from static whiteboard content to dynamic audio content. And you will find that this has helped to increase the teacher's capacity. He could now go use the power of the World Wide Web and get information beyond the whiteboard or blackboard, and share more information in such a short time. And very interestingly, these are the modern classrooms. You see labs and the computers, and then active learning is possible, where you throw a challenge and allow the students to interact, or collaborative learning, where discussion among themselves you can learn. So these are the modern classrooms that has happened. Then comes the third category of classroom, which we call as flipped classroom, which I told you enables a lot of teaching and learning, more than 50%. And you will find in the flipped classroom model that you have videos outside the classrooms. The students' lectures are pre-recorded and viewed remotely outside the classroom. So you send the videos to the students, and they watch it in their rooms or wherever they are, and they come back. Then students then do their work collaboratively in the class. So you see, just notice how the students are sitting, the students are facing each other, and teacher is looking somewhere else. So this is nothing but collaborative learning, and it's more of an activity-based learning. And here, sharing of ideas happen among the students themselves, and the students can create content on their device and bring the same to the classroom. So this way of teaching is supposed to be very, very effective. But how many of us do it? The other, the fourth type is what we call experiential classroom. Fourth type of classroom, or experiential. The famous saying of the Chinese scholar is, "I hear, I forget. I see, I remember. I do and understand." So this is what is confused. That is what is experiential learning is. We actually get involved in it, and then we start learning. So we always say, let us do engineering, not read engineering. Or there are certain things to illustrate what is experiential classroom. For example, you want to do cycling, just by reading the theory of cycling, you cannot learn. You have to actually practice it. Similarly, swimming also, you will have to do it. So there are many things in computer science and other things. Nagesh? No, Indigo change. So you will find that this is how we do it actually, and you will, this is really very, very helpful to all of us. In fact, we have these classrooms, where you're actually getting experience by involving yourself or discussing among conducting the experiment. So this is all experiential classroom. You actually start doing yourself and learning. It's more of learning by doing rather than actually. So this is very, very useful for engineering subjects, and we are all very much familiar with it. And in online scenario also, this can be done very good. In fact, the next type of category of class we call a remote classroom. So remote learning is there, where teacher is very similar to the way we are doing right now. The participants are joined from different parts of the country or some different parts of Delhi. I am sitting in Warangal, and so the location totally becomes immaterial. And the knowledge of the leading faculties can be shared with a large pool of audience. You will find, that this saves time and a lot of effort of travel, and you cannot just do the way you do things. And the current COVID pandemic has really made this very, very useful and important. And in fact, you find that today platforms such as Microsoft Teams, GoTo, Zoom is helping us, and it has made it very easy for us to interact and do things. And so what are we doing? For example, today there are 3 courses being inaugurated. One is on application of machine learning and deep learning. The other is Python for beginners and Python for artificial and machine learning. So for any course that we plan, we should first define what is the learning outcome. When you say learning outcome, what do I mean? How are the student is expected to learn? So if you have to choose a teaching and learning activity likely to lead to the intended learning outcomes. Then you have to assess, after the learning, you have to assess students' actual learning, how much they have learned. And this is only possible by making a proper assessment. And then you arrive at the final grade. So therefore, when I say learning outcome, what I mean is you have to first, following things need to be considered by all teachers. How does the learning outcome lead to the learning activity? Then how long will the activity take place? Then how do you communicate the activity to students? How will the students be engaged? And how will the students demonstrate their learning? So these are the things that one needs to do and one needs to understand very, very clearly. Unless you do this, you cannot actually make sure the teaching and learning is actually happening. So therefore, the competencies that are required in the 21st centuries are that we have a very important things. What are the competencies that the teachers require or the students require? We require analytical skills. We require critical thinking skills. We require problem-solving skills. We require decision-making skills. We require research and development. So these are the things that one actually requires. And you will find that to develop these skills, for example, if you want to develop analytical skills, then you have to develop interpersonal skills. You have to develop the ability of realizing. You will have to develop information processing skills, the ability of changing and learning. And then critical thinking is possible through communication, messaging, initiative, self-regulation, information literacy, and creativity and innovation. Problem solving is possible through collaborating, productivity, efficiency, media literacy, adaptability, and learning to learn. And decision making is possible through leading and responsibility, digital and flexibility. And research and development is possible through ICT procedures and concepts. So these are some of the things that one needs to actually do and learn, and you will find that this is only possible to make these skills easily. So in fact, online has really made many things possible for us, especially the globalization of education, information, technological innovations, knowledge-based economy and society, the escalating demand for education, and then you will find lecture you have effective learning, learning for all, and then anytime learning and anywhere learning. So this is what actually is going to happen, and you will find that this is something it's possible only through online education. In fact, we call something called as education 4.0. So what is education 4.0? So we have anywhere, anytime learning. Then we also have personalized learning, where learning is more personal and you can actually talk to each other. The students feel that as if they are only being taught. And then you have the flexibility of delivering. I can choose topics according to the way I want. There is no fixed curriculum. And in fact, what somebody has said, that I will, I will not cover the curriculum, but I will uncover some part of it and the rest you have to discover. This is something very, very useful and interesting for all of us. And you will find that, the role of teachers are totally changed. We are more of a mentors, we are more of a facilitators, we are like a guide. And the peers, students themselves discuss themselves among themselves and come out with projects. And then we are moving from what, how to, why, where. And then, a lot of practical applications can be given, especially problems. And each student can be given a modular project. And once a student is given a modular project, if the students starts owning the project, and we feel the student is evaluated, not examined. So there's a total difference in the whole scenario that is actually happening. And this is what is actually helping many of us and all of us. So what is the difference between evaluation and examination? Examination is normally done at the end of a semester or end of a year. As evaluation, as you lecture, you can evaluate the students' learning. So this is again very, very important for all of us. Now, but there are some concerns, which we should be aware. We don't just say that online is something which has just solved everything. So online, you will find the students' access to internet varies widely across the countries and across the institutes. The mechanism for their implementation have to be designed depending on the specific context of one's own students. And then issues need to be considered while implementing online instruction in a student-friendly manner. And there are other issues which actually bother online education, like availability of power, access to computers. I remember, that when we introduced online, many students from rural background did not have laptops. And then we have to take care of it. And then we have internet coverage and bandwidth and data usage charges. So these are some of the things that one actually needs to do teaching and learning. And this is what is required for all of us for a long time, and which bothers us online. So these are the concerns that we need to address. So one thing we should remember, as a teacher or as a student, the new norm is, or new digital literacy that one is required is computer literacy. That means you're having comfort and fluency in keyboarding and using. You require comfort and fluency in keyboarding and using computers. You require information literacy. That means the ability to find and critically evaluate online information. Then you require multimedia literacy. That means the ability to produce and interpret complex documents comprising text, images, and sounds. And then require computer-mediated communication literacy is knowledge of the pragmatics of individuals and group online interaction. So these are some of the things that it is required for all of us if we want to make new digital literacies. So what are the competencies you require for online teaching? You find that you require good subject and domain knowledge. You require proper course planning and organization. You require verbal and non-verbal presentation skills. You require collaborative teamwork. Then you require questioning strategies. So these are very, very important for all of us to actually do and learn. Then only we can make our teaching very, very effective. So we need to build an action plan for building the competencies of teacher online. What are the action plan required? First of all, provide reading material and video content online, and you will find that this is again very, very. So this is very, very important that unless there is reading material online, these students cannot do anything. Then provide open educational resources links. These links will actually help. Develop a video lecture for about 30 minutes. And give assignment every week. So these are things. The echo is coming.
Yes, it is.
Let me log in and log
Someone
in.
must have unmute. So, sir, what I am doing, I am muting all.
I think the whole.
Sir, now unmute yourself. You have that option.
Okay. Now, is it audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Requires for teaching and learning, and we will find very interestingly that even when I did.
Please mute yourself.
Yeah, another 6 minutes to go for my lecture, and then we'll leave. Okay, please bear with me. So, when faculty start asking questions in online medium won't work for my topic. The solution is one has to adapt one teaching style so that one's class work well in online medium. So then the other question is, how do I deal with online medium and then student learning is not compromised, or how do I exploit? Can you?
Sir, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. So how do I exploit the power of the online medium and utilize it to promote effective student learning? The solution is we first need to know all the options that exist in the online medium, learn their advantages and disadvantages, and make decisions accordingly. There are some more questions like what type of hardware is needed. For online teaching, there are several hardwares that are required to make it effective, and I'll just share some hardware you have like condensers, Steadicam, webcam, and then you also have tools like Padlets and pickers to do the examination, Mentimeters, and some more devices. So these are all easily available and they are cheaply available, and you can use them. Then what is the purpose of this live interactive? Nagesh, what is the purpose of live interactive synchronous platform like Zoom and Google Meet? Are they enough for online teaching? So answer is yes, this supports classroom-like scenario, and you will find what is the need of this learning management systems or asynchronous platform like Moodle, Google Classroom, Canvas in online teaching. They help in, even though the other models like this Zoom and all, they only support classroom lesson, but we require more than a classroom. We require a scenario where we help in content uploading, supporting self-study, promoting students' own learning at pace and space and time, and supporting collaborative learning and teams. So all these are required for learning management system, and that's what we need to do. Then there's some other questions were, do the teachers need to prepare the videos? And the answer is not always. As per the course plan, lesson plan, objectives, you already have the Government of India e-resource and other quality OER content. If suitable material is not available, then you create the content using the simple tools. Then the major challenge all of us as teachers are, how do we conduct assessments? Of course, the simplest way was MCQ, having application article.
What is the OER?
And what methodology and instructional design need to be adopted for online classes? In fact, we have to address various aspects of the teaching learning process in the online medium beyond content delivery. Learn some key principles, strategies, and tools for effective teaching learning in this new medium. We have to adopt processes which are based in evidence, research, and guidance in online learning. So like that, we had. Therefore, we should understand the key to successful online learning is not the choice of tools, but the quality of learning activities that we engage the student in using. For example, these courses, what are the learning activities that the teacher is engaging the students is what that matters in the learning of the student. In fact, there are still some challenges to faculty in online education, like how do we manage practicals, how apprenticeships dealt with, what overall experiential learning peer-to-peer we can have in virtual mode. Of course, you have two types of possibilities. One is a synchronous mode and asynchronous mode. In synchronous mode, obviously, the teacher and student have same direct simultaneous contact. In the asynchronous mode, teacher and student do not meet in time and space. So let us see the pros and cons of each of the things. With the synchronous mode, instructors and students gather at the same time on a specified online platform and interact in real time. For instance, an example is a live class using video technology such as Zoom, GoToMeeting, all that. So advantages are feeling of personal engagement and immediate response, but the disadvantages are many in asynchronous. Availability of bandwidth. If the bandwidth is not proper, then you cannot hear my voice properly, and there will be voice breaks and other things. You have logistic challenges, you have scheduling challenges, managing session challenges, student fatigue with longer lectures, dealing with audio and video glitches, and instructor fatigue of speaking into a software for the duration of the class. So all these are the problems that one will face. Coming to the other mode, the asynchronous mode, you will find the instructors prepare and post course material for students in advance, and the students may access the course material at the time of the choosing and interact with each other over a longer period of time. For instance, set of pre-recorded videos and corresponding practice questions are uploaded on a LMS such as a Moodle. So you will find that this is what actually helps all of us. And there are some pros and cons for this asynchronous mode also. The advantages is you have anytime, anywhere access. The student can learn at his own pace and flexible. And there is more greater cognitive engagement. So students may interact with materials repeatedly or longer duration. But the disadvantage, there's a lack of immediate response and the possibility that students may not look at the posted material. Many times it's so happens the student does not look at the material. So these are challenges that you have to do it. So what you can do is you can combine the advantages of both the modes. The question answers can be in synchronous mode, whereas the course can be in asynchronous mode. So you have to take a decision, teaching online, which mode to use. Synchronous, asynchronous, or mixed. So while we may be tempted to replicate our face-to-face classroom in online, it is not a good idea. In fact, what you should do, instead of may choose to use synchronous, depending on the topic or the material to be taught, then it is recommended to have a mix of both the modes. A single course or even a single topic can have a combination of the two modes. The best practices would be allowing students to ask questions via hand raise or chat features to improve interaction in live classes. In fact, there exist strategies to address the limitations in each mode. For example, to ensure that students go through the post video followed with a short guide quiz based on it. So what actually is final recommendations are, for most courses, it is recommended to have a blend of synchronous approaches. A typical blend could be 1 hour of live class per week along with 2 hours of equivalent posted material. Then you have for each mode, become familiar with the best practices and apply strategies to address the limitations. Adapt the strategies depending on the specific context of one's own student. So it is very important, that the face-to-face and how it is now changing in online. Lectures are now split into small chunks, exercises and practice problems at the end of the chapter. You can give them immediately after each chunk. The resources and the references provide incentive for students to go through them, otherwise it's no use. In the discussion and interactions in the class, you can have focused questions and steer discussion in the online scenario. In fact, there are several tools that are helping us. For example, these online tools and technologies are there, which actually will help you to get many other things. So you will find, that in this, let's show you some examples where you have mind maps, you have actually product tools like Google Docs and other things. Then you also have presentation tools like Prezi, Canva, and all that. You also have online whiteboards. So these are all click of a button is available in the web and free of video editing and making tools. Apart from this, you also have infographic tools, then vocabulary learning tools, quiz tools, and then video conferencing tools like Zoom, Google Meet, Cisco. You can choose what you want. There's so many options, and then learning management systems are there like Google Classroom, Edwendo, Canvas, and all this. And then you also have assessment tools, So all it requires is to make use of these tools to make our teaching learning very effective. So that is what is really required. And you will find that the government of India also has come out with several online teaching resources like Swayam, NDL, E-Pathshala, Swayam Prabha, OERs. All we have to do is make use of them. So we also have Swayam, for schools, diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate courses. We have NPTEL courses. So these are the websites. You just click on them, you'll go there, free of cost. There are national open school courses for engineering, science, and humanities. We have virtual labs, very useful for engineering students, spoken tutorials for skill enhancement, and open source software for engineering students. So these are things. So we all are moving from open courseware to open education resources to MOOCs, and this is how we are moving, and this is going to stay whether you like it or not. So what we do, we have to make students entrepreneurs. So the following should be done. First of all, as a teacher, we have to provide the right skills to foster employability, to reveal the jobs of the futures. We have to inspire young generation to become makers and innovators. We have to transform education research through a strong connection with industry. I think this is my last slide. There are many slides, but since the organizers have asked me to close by 6 o'clock and the other speaker is waiting, I would conclude with the last slide. So all of us need to make sure that we make our students readily available for the skills of the future. We have to incorporate hard skills and soft skills such as collaborations, adaptability, active learning, ethics, critical thinking, creativity, and complex problem solving, and hard skills such as innovation, robotics, data analytics system. So all this is what the courses are about, digital transformation, digital, and all this is for industry. And industry is also going through a lot of change like digital twin, systems engineering, smart factory. So unless we train our students in these areas, not like what you are doing in these courses, we cannot make them industry ready. And that is what is the purpose of this. So with this, I think I'll stop here. I have several slides to go, but I think I'll just run through them for the sake of completeness. But anyway, I will share. The national education policy also has come in timely. It offers multiple exit and multiple entry. It's multidisciplinary, multi-mode, multi-institute, flexible fee, holistic approach, and multi-language medium. So that is what is there. And we have moved from fragmented to multidisciplinary, subcritical research to NRF, research and development to relevance and delivery, from tight government control to autonomous, and gross enrollment ratio will increase from 20. So these are the things that are going to happen. So we should understand, that NEP now offers us a lot of flexibility in pace of learning, choosing the courses, choosing the institution, learning methodologies, entry and exit. So these are things which slowly will come into. So we need to create, the way we teach is to students should be able to generate ideas, do brainstorming, concept mapping, creative presentation. Students should be exposed to the real world, and all this. These are challenges which teachers will have to face. So we will have to adopt good practices for teaching and learning, like blended teaching and learning, flipped classroom practices based on DLab, more design orientation, more research orientation, student sensitive, varied pace of learning, outcome oriented, better evaluation styles, more interactive feedback, and use of artificial intelligence tools. So I would like to stop and hand over to the organizers. If there are any questions, we'll take. But unfortunately, I think we are delayed. The start got delayed and I lost 20 minutes. But anyway, I'll share this presentation. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, sir, for such a.
Thank you, sir.
With the entire world shifting to a completely digitalized world, it has surely become a new normal. But no matter what, it must not compromise the quality of teaching and learning. The talk given by you has surely ignited our minds and has helped us know the different types of classrooms, each with its own advantages, along with giving us a new perspective on how technology can be effectively used for improving the teaching and learning experience and turning this parallel shift of education systems to the virtual world into a boon. Thank you, sir. I would like to inform you all that we'll be having a short 10-minute break and we will be commencing at 6:10 p.m. on this platform only. Thank you.
Are we supposed to leave?
It's up to you. We'll start from 6:10 according to the schedule.
Okay, great.
Okay, cool.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
request Mr. B. Prasad to commence the second session of the day.
Yeah. Yes. Am I audible for everyone?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So I think even my screen is also visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah. So yeah. So myself, Bhavnath Prasad, co-founder, CEO of K4 Infotech. So in today's session, I'll be dealing with the basics of Python programming, so that from tomorrow onwards, I think this will be useful for doing any type of analysis, either by using AI, ML, or if you want to go with deep learning. Okay, so keeping those things, I mean, from tomorrow onwards, FDP into mind. The first session has been planned. Today's session has been planned on Python programming. Okay, so before I start my session, I would like to ask to the participants one question. The founder, the founder who we call Van Rossum is a founder for the Python programming language. So the question is, what may be the reason that he might have given the name Python programming to the programming language? Okay, so the reason behind giving Python programming language, the programming language named as Python. Okay, so the reason is Van Rossum is fond of watching so-called TV series. Nowadays we call them as web series and so on. So the time when he was writing the programming language, he was very much fond of watching a program called as Monty's Python Flying Circus. It is his what to call as the best or maybe the favorite TV show. So from that particular show title that is called as Python, he has extracted and he has named the programming language as Python. Okay, so this is one of the reason, the name why the Python programming language so called. And another question immediately rises to my mind: why Python programming? When I have other programming languages like C, C++, Java, there are n number of programming languages, but still, what is the reason, or why should I use only this so-called Python programming language? It means if I ask the same question, can anyone give me the answer for it? What may be the reason or why the programming
This
language
conference will now be recorded.
Python is named as Python programming, and the reason behind using this particular Python programming language? Any other reason other than me, whatever I'm saying, why the name Python, and why we have to use this Python programming language?
So may I try?
Yes.
Sure, Jignesh, go ahead.
Yeah, someone says me that it is simple, and the people
Sir,
says me.
it is very flexible. Like if we consider Python, it's a snake, and the snake is quite so flexible. So Python was, as a programming language, it was very easy to use, very flexible to present the data.
Fine. So it's one of the reason, right? So here, if I come back to that particular answer, whatever she says, that the snake is what to call it as flexible, right? Flexible in the sense, in the movement. In the movement, it is so flexible. Okay. So the same way, when I talk about Python programming language, if I throw a question saying that if I want to add two numbers by using a programming language called as C, the minimum lines of code it required is minimum 7 to 8 lines is required, while I go with programming language called as C. Whereas if I take Java or some other programming languages, the minimum number of lines that are really required for adding two numbers like 2 plus 3. Okay, so in such cases, the number of lines required is minimum 5. Okay, so if I talk about the same question, if I ask the same question to if I the number of lines that required for Python programming is, I can do the same programming language in a single line, that is print 5 plus 7. It means what I want to say is one of the reason why Python is becoming popular is we can try to reduce the lines of code, number of lines. I mean, we can try to minimize the code. Okay, this is one of the reason. And there are many reasons. Like another reason, if I say, another reason is n number of packages are available. So what is my duty? Simply extract those particular packages. I mean, just import those particular packages, and you can try to complete the code. It means I no need to write, or we no need to bring as many as lines into the picture. Simply, we can try to reduce the lines of code by using the packages that are available in Python programming. So this is one of the reasons. And as we go on our slides, will some other reasons will come, but this is a basic reason why the people, or what is the reason why Python programming is becoming more popular nowadays. Okay, and another question, if I throw, which companies, sir, if I try to go with Python and some other added points, then is there any scope for me in the future? So if I keep those things into the picture, maximum companies like Google, Yahoo, NASA, Spotify, people nowadays, Uber, IBM, Insta, the maximum topmost companies started using their products, or started developing their products by using Python programming language. So you can say that there is lots of scope in the future for people who have gone through this Python programming language and so on. Now, another question will say, what type of applications I can try to build if I use Python programming language. So you can try to build till now whatever the applications you know, like I can try to go and I can try to develop web-based applications. I can try to do some sort of scientific calculations. I can try to develop a software. I can even try to go with business applications. Maximum, I can try to do any type of analytics by using Python programming language. Now, why the Python is so becoming, why I can, or why, or what is the reason behind the applications are becoming very easy for building is, now if I take one particular development, like if I am interested in developing a game, then there is a package or there is a method called as Pygame is available with us. So you try to use that particular Pygame and you can try to develop any type of game developments. Suppose if I want to do some sort of visualizations, some sort of data analytics I am interested in doing. So in that particular case, we have something called as a package called as plotlib, that is there, so that you can use plotlib library, so that with that particular package you can try to do the visualizations of the large amount of data. In this way you can see BioPython, and you can take the one of the best example that if I am interested in developing desktop applications, like we have some tool that is nothing but called as a TK-Inter. And if you are interested in doing some sort of scientific calculations, NumPy is available. It means the reason why Python is becoming popular is for each and every application, we have a package. Now, what is our duty? Just try to take that particular package. You make sure that you use in your particular product. That's it. Okay, so that is what actually the reason why the Python has becoming or become it has became or becoming both. Okay, so the popular in the market. Okay, now another question will throw. The question is, what are the different tools by which I can try to develop my Python programming language? So basically, everyone knows that we have a basic tool that is nothing but called as Python IDE is available. Jupyter Notebook is available, Anaconda is available, PyCharm is available. Now these are the different tools where or with which we can try to build as many as applications. Now, what may be the difference between these particular tools? If I go with Python IDLE, the reason is, suppose let us take that I have 10 lines of code. Okay, let's assume that I have 10 lines of code. Now, by using Python IDLE, I have to write all the 10 lines of code then you have to test the code. Whereas if I go with Jupyter Notebook, I can write a single line, write a code, test a code, or I can go with blocks of line, write blocks of code, then you can test it. Okay, this is the main difference between Python IDLE and Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so entire code, write the code, test it. For that, I have to go with a tool called as Python IDLE. Whereas I can write a code, test it, write it, test it. Line by line, yeah, block by block. It's up to you. So for that particular case, I can go with a tool that is nothing but called as Jupyter Notebook. And another tool is there, that is Anaconda. If I'm interested in multiple programming languages like Spider, Orange, okay, there are R programming languages available. So if I'm interested in working with multiple programming languages, maybe I'm interested in Python, I'm interested in R programming, I'm interested in Orange, or maybe RStudio. In that particular case, there is a tool called as Anaconda. So you can try to use Anaconda. It means if I'm interested in developing Python through Anaconda, Jupyter is defaultly available in Anaconda. So Anaconda is also becoming popular nowadays. It means like this, there are, if I go on talking, there are n number of tools that are available in the market. If you are a beginner, I suggest you to go with Python IDLE, then later on practice with Jupyter Notebook, and that is more than enough for developing any type of what to call it as Python programming language. Okay, so till here, any doubt?
No doubt, sir.
Yeah,
no, sir.
Prasad, you just tell me like in IDLE we have a block of code and we test it, but in other Jupyter it's we line by line we test it. It test with respect to compilation test, or it's a runtime test.
Compilations are compiled. I'll come to that also. Okay, I'll show the main difference between writing a code in IDLE and I'll show the code writing in what to call it as Jupyter Notebook. Both I'll show you. Okay. Right. So now, yeah. Now,
sir, yes. Sir, is
Yes.
PyCharm only specific to Python?
See, PyCharm contains Python is available. You can write the code in C++, Visual C++. You can bring multiple programming languages even in PyCharm, where you can bring what to call it as the libraries. Only the reason is it is one type of compiler where you can try to bring the libraries into the picture and you can try to build. Okay, so what to call it as, it is one of the part. That's it. Like Anaconda, if I go with one particular tool, multiple programming languages, you choose that particular programming languages and you can use it. The same way PyCharm is also meant for that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now, the next part, the installation part, definitely I know that maximum people, you can go with this. But for the basic beginner, what I recommend is, please go with what to call it as version 3.7, yeah, Python version 3.8, because these two versions are compatible, as well as these two tools are bug-free. Okay, and even Market 3.10, 3.11 is also available, but there should be some of the libraries have to be still inbuilt into those particular newer editions. And for that particular reason, if you are a beginner, I recommend you to go with 3.7 or 3.8. And later on, you can bring 3.10 into the picture. Only a little bit of modules will change. Like suppose example, what may be the changes is, suppose example, if I talk with a tool called as a TK inter, and if I'm using the version 2x, in that particular 2x, what happens, the TK inter, I think the spelling I have displayed to you, you can see here the TK inter, that T should be in capital, but whereas in 3x version, the T should be in small. So such type of very small, okay, the names or small bugs are there, so that I recommend you to go with Python version 3.7 or 3.8. Okay, and other than that, no need to discuss more about the installation part. And you can see this is my Python IDLE. I can directly go into my Python IDLE. Now, this is my Python IDLE when I start from my what to call it as local PC. This is how my Python shell will be available. And if I'm interested in writing a Python program, just open the file, just go with the new file, and you can just simply write any program. In my case, I have written it as print And I'll discuss about this syntax later, but for the time being, I'm just telling you how to use this particular tool. Okay, print hello, and just to save the file, you can just choose your dedicated location, and the name of the file, you can just give any name, and make sure that the type of the file that you are saving is Python file. We no need to give .py. Okay, you can even choose from the type of the file as Python file. So with this, what happens is I can try to write a program in my Python ideally. And once I write this particular program, I think I have saved this particular program in my downloads. You can see that first has been there. This is the program, the first program which I have written. And now if I want to compile this particular program, just click on the tab called as run, or even you can press F5 key on your keyboard. Okay, just click it and you can see the output on my IDLE. Okay, so this is how we can try to bring, or how to write a program in what to call it as Python IDLE. Okay, so this is a basic. Simply just go with file. Make sure that you are typing the file as Python file, that saving dot extension is .py. So the type of the file you have to save, the type is nothing but Python file. And if you want to run it, simply click on F5 button on your keyboard, or you can just go to the tab run, and in that there is a module called as run module. You just click on it. So this is the basic how to run a particular Python file on your local machine. Now, once I know how to write a particular file on Python, and if I am interested in checking what is the version that is available on my local machine, simply you open your command prompt, and in the command prompt, you just type Python, Python. Okay, once you type that, you can see the version that is nothing but Python 3.7.6 is available in my local machine. This is how to check the version in your Python. Okay, so now I think we are set with what are the tools, or why, or why, what, and all the stuff. Now let's go into the topics. Okay,
sir, how
so
to check the version?
Yes.
Actually, sir, your voice is cutting. Sir, how to check the version?
Simply open your command prompt and type the command Python, Python, Python.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, now let's go with the next thing. That is nothing.
Can you give us for at least 5 minutes for all attendee to download and install in the system? So I don't have the.
Yeah,
give us
of course.
5 to 10 minutes so that we can download and get that Hello World program in our system.
Yeah, do one thing. You just start downloading it, and in parallel, I'll be go on. So what happens is simultaneously, if you have question as well as both the things can be covered. I'll give
Can
you
you share the
time.
presentation afterwards?
And
Is it
don't worry.
possible to share it?
Yeah. I'm going to share this to the coordinators, and you can take this file from the coordinators. Not an issue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right? And I think even video recordings are also available.
Sir, Prabhakaran here. Yes, sir. Actually, I also thought to ask. Recordings will be available for us, sir, for taking this.
Credentials in the sense I didn't get you, sir.
No credentials, sir. I am asking about the recordings. Hello.
I'm sorry. I didn't get you, sir.
He's asking that will the recording be available for us? As far as I think
Yes. Recordings will be, I think, definitely the coordinators will share you in the WhatsApp group. I think even I'm also there in the WhatsApp group. Definitely once the session is done, I'm going to share you the PPT as well as I'm going to share you the recordings. Okay, you can download from there. I'll give an option saying that users can download from your end.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So now, same way, see, because anyway, 1.5 hour time is giving where I have to cover the basics, but still I'll take all your queries. And okay, you can see here. Now, the first thing which I'm going to discuss about the basic building block of Python programming language is Python indentation. Now, coming to this, what is indentation? Okay. Now, suppose if I write a program, if I ask a basic question,
How many lines of code is there here? Can anyone tell me what are the number of lines of code that are available over here?
3 lines of code.
3 lines of code. Okay, now if I ask you another question, what is the main difference between a regular statement and a conditional statement? Now, lines, each line, I'll call it as a statement, right? I can call it as lines, statements, it depends upon you. So according to me, I'm calling this as statement 1. Hello 1 is statement 1, hello 2 is statement 2, hello 3 is a statement 3, and hello 4 is a statement, sorry, if 4 is greater than 2, it is nothing but statement 4. It means I have 4 lines of statements or 4 lines of code. Out of these 4 lines, the first 3 lines, I'll call it as a regular statement, or I call it as a statement. Okay, but whereas the 4th line, I'll call it as a conditional statement. So you know conditional statement, if, while, for, and all the basic conditions. So now keeping these 2 things into mind, that is a regular statement as well as conditional statement, now I'll frame blocks of code. Blocks of code means I can call these 2 lines as one block, these 2 lines as one block, maybe all these lines are one block, maybe this. Now let's go with the structure, how to form a particular block, right? So there are n number of rules we have to take care when we are trying to go with indentation. The first rule, whatever the first rule we are saying is the first line, whatever the first line, we call it as the beginning of the code. So the beginning of the code cannot be an indented. Actually, what do you mean by indentation? That is very important. So indentation is nothing but, suppose example, let me take one statement here. Okay, so these indentations are given with just a second, I think I'll little bit change my font size. Okay, so now indentations are nothing but these are represented with the help of space. Okay, space means, how do I give space? On my keyboard, I can use the space bar like this. For the print statement, I am using the space bar, or I can use space with the help of tab. Okay, so for the hello statement, I'm using space bar, or for the hello 5 statement, I'm using the tab. It means indentation. If I want to bring indentation into the picture, I have to bring the space into the code. So now the space can be given with 2 conditions. Either I can use the space bar on my keyboard, or either I can use tab on my keyboard. These are the 2 cases, right? So now let's see how to frame an indent block, right? So what I say is, whenever there is a conditional statement, okay, whenever there is a conditional statement, so according to me, what is my conditional statement? If 4 is greater than 2, this is my conditional statement. So whenever we are having a conditional statement and the next line, whatever the next line after the conditional statement, this is the next line. I mean, hello 4 is my next line. So this particular next line should be given a space. I mean, indentation should be given. Okay, so what I can conclude? I can conclude a block will begin or indentation will have. So when a block will begin, whenever there is a conditional statement, immediately you try to follow the block. I mean, you try to give the space. In that particular case, I can say that this is nothing but it is called as indent. Okay, indent block, right? So now what happens is, now we'll frame our question in another way. Now, the first one I said that we suppose in our case, these are 2 blocks. Let's assume this is one block and this is another block. Okay, now I'm talking about with this block. Okay, so this is our first block. So beginning of the block means if 4 is greater than 2. Here I can't use any space. I can't use indent. Where can I use? I have to use onto the next line. Whatever the next statement is there itself, I have to use what to call it as indent. Okay, so this is about what to call it as how to use indent and how to represent a particular block. Now, in this particular question, another question will come. Suppose example, now, according to me, 5 is greater than 2. Let's assume that. Now, this is also
what to call it as, this is also another block. Now, when this block is there, what I have to do? Immediately make sure that whatever the next line is there, it has to be with the tab. I have given it as a tab. Now, is it that one particular, there will be always only one line in a particular block? In a particular block, there may be more than one lines. So in this second, in the second block, you can see here, we have only one statement. Okay. Whereas in the third block, we have two statements. Now, when I have more than one statement, what I have to do? Okay, so whatever the space that you have used for the first line, the same space I have to use here. Okay, so this is another rule, right? Whenever we are trying to form a particular block, whatever the space that you have used for the first statement, the second statement should be with the same space. Okay, and another rule will come. Now, this is one block, I have the second block, and another block, this is the third block. Now, whatever the space that I have used in first block, the second block, is it that I have to use in the same this case? It means the answer is no. Okay, you can suppose I have taken another third block. Now 6 is greater than 2. In this case, what I have done, I have taken only one space bar. It means there, if I am taking one space bar, it means I have to use the second space for this particular statement also. Okay, so these are nothing but these are few rules where I have to follow whenever indentation is coming into the picture. Okay, so indentation is nothing but, why do we go with indentations? Indentations are used for representing blocks of code. You can see here. Now I have framed almost 4 blocks. Now, to represent indentation, what we have to use? I have to either use spacebar or either I have to use the tab. Now, the next question, from where the block begins? Block can begin either with a regular statement or a conditional statement. If a regular statement is coming, I'm not bothered about it. Like this, suppose example, of course, anyway, the first line cannot be indented, so that doesn't matter for me. So the another rule like this, suppose example 1-1. Okay, so this one is another 1-1. So in this case, what happens? Okay, so these are 3 what to call it as a regular statement. So all these 3 regular statements will come into one block. Now, whenever I have encountered a conditional statement, it means I'll simply say that this will go into the next block. Okay, and whenever I say this is a conditional statement, immediately the rule says that you have to bring indentation into the picture. Okay, so that is the second rule. Now, third rule is a particular block can contain more than one statement, like this 2 and 3. If more than one statement is there, make sure that whatever the space that you are using for the first statement, you try to use the same space for the second statement, like this, hello 3. Okay, that is another rule. And another rule, the fourth rule is, now there may be chances that whatever the space that I am using for one block, it is not mandatory that I have to use for the next block. Only one thing is, in that particular block, whatever the space that you are using, you have to use it. Okay, so this is about what to call it as how to represent and indent into the picture. Now let me simply show you one basic example here. So the output, yes.
I have a doubt. Before print hello 1, if an indentation is given, will it print, sir?
Indentation means here?
Yes, space, sir.
If I give here, what I already said to you? I already said to you that beginning of the line or beginning of the block, you cannot use indentation. So it will throw an error. Okay, so where to use indentation? Indentation can be used in a block. Now, how do I form a block? Block can be formed by using some conditional statements. Okay, now this is a conditional statement. So immediately the next line, not even this particular statement, immediately the next line should be indented. Okay, so the output is hello 1 and hello 2. Okay, so in this way you can try to bring indentation into the picture. And now if I'm giving here this, what will be the output of this code? What will be the output of this code?
Hello 1, hello 2, hello 3, hello 4.
Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be the output, right? You can see hello 1, hello 2, hello 3, and hello 4. That is output. Now, what will be the output of this code?
Error.
Hello.
Maybe.
It will throw an error saying that we have to go with the indent block. Okay, so it means what is the rule? According to us, what is the rule? If 5 is greater than 2 and it contains two statements, whatever the first line that you are there, the second line should compulsory begin with the same space what you are using. Okay, or else, yes. Okay, so now the output of the code is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, okay, I'll throw away all those things, and another interesting question I'll ask. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Now I have, okay, I have a code. Okay, I have a code. The question, you just go through the question. I have a code. In this particular code, I have 6 lines of code. Okay, I have a program where I have 6 lines of code. The first line belongs to first block. Second and third line belongs to block 2. Third, 4, and 5 belongs to block 3. Now, what will be the output of the code? Okay, 5 lines of code. First line, first block. Second and third belongs to what to call it as second block. 3, 4, and 5. Sorry, not 3, 4, 5, and 6 belongs to block 3. What will be the output of the code?
One, two, three, four.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now, if I reframe the question, right? If I reframe the question, I have 6 lines of code. First line belongs to first block. Second and third belongs to second block. Third, sorry, these 2 lines. I mean, fourth and fifth line belongs to third block, and this belongs to fourth block. What will be the output of the code?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It will give error.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Same only.
The output is same. Is it right?
Yes.
But what is my question?
Yes.
What is my question? My question is, the fourth is in the separate block. When I say it is separate block, what should be there? Is it will be like this or
Conditional statement. There should be a conditional statement.
there should be conditional statement? And if there is no conditional statement, if it is a regular statement, now this is what actually. Okay, so yeah, either it can be a regular statement or either it can be a conditional statement. Okay, so whatever it is there, if I am saying it as a new block, then in the new block, the first line, does it begins with the space? No. Okay.
No.
And another thing is, suppose again another question in the same question. Now this is my what to call it as new block. Now here I am not using space, so do I need to use here a space?
No. Because it's a regular statement. It's a regular statement and no conditional statement is there.
Yes. Whenever only conditional statement is there, the next line you have to use it as a what to call it as indentation. If it is a regular statement, please don't use it. Okay. So that is what actually the main logic behind the Python programming language. So now previously you said me this, see one block, these 2 are in another block, and these 3 are in this block. Okay, the output is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now the same question I am changing, and this I am making it as into the new block, but the output is also same. There is no change in my output. So now what is a mistake here had happened? The mistake whatever had happened is a simply human error. Human error in the sense
Suppose this should be as a new block, but unfortunately, I have not given a space. Okay, so what happens? This will be considered into the previous statement only. Okay, so only this human error while you are using. See, in both the questions, okay, in both the questions, whatever I'm saying, if the hello fourth is in the new block, okay, if I write the code in this fashion, I'll get output. Now, is it my output is right? Hello 4 is in the new block and I have written code in this manner. The output is wrong. I'm getting output, but I'm getting error. So keep only those things, that particular thing into the mind. Okay, so that is about indentation. I think you can see all more explanation in my slides. You can go with the slides I'll share to you. Now the next topic that we will be discussing is about Python comments. Okay, so next topic is Python comments. Now, why do we use comments in a particular programming language? So the answer is, if I want to just give some sort of explanation to the program. Now let's assume this is some program and I'm interested in giving explanation to this program. Maybe the name of the program, I'm giving it as first program. Okay, so if I'm interested in giving the explanation to the code, entire code, maybe to the entire code, in that particular case, I can go with something that is nothing but called as comments. Okay, so comments are used to give explanation. Either it can be entire code or maybe a single line. Okay, I can use for a single line or either I can go for the entire program. So it's up to you, right? So comments are used for giving explanation to the code. So now, whenever I'm talking about comments, how do comments are represented? Comments are represented with the help of the, what to call it as, the hash key. Okay, so if I use hash key, then the comments will be used. I mean, I can try to represent the comments. Okay, so now whenever I'm trying to represent the comments, the comment line, whatever the line we are calling it as a comment line, so that particular comment line will be ignored while the program is getting tested. Okay, while I'm trying to test the code, the comment will be ignored. Okay, so those will not be come into the consideration. Okay, so the representation of the comment is done with the help of hash keyword. Now, where should I use the comments? Okay, so I can use, suppose, let me assume that this is one line of comment, hello one is there in my program, and if I want to give comment to this particular program, I can write the comment before the program. Okay, now simply I'll write C1. I can write a comment before, what to call it as, before the line, or I can write comments after the line, or I can write comments at the end of the line. It's up to the user. Okay, so where can I write the code? I can write, suppose this is my code, and if I want to write comments, I can write before the line or after the line or at the end of the line. But I can't write in the beginning of the line because everything will be considered into the comment. Okay, so this is about comments, right? So comments can be represented with the help of hash key. Now, another question, if I have comments more than one line, there may be chances that I have comments more than one line. So if I want to write code comments more than one line, okay, what I can do is I have to use a single line. We call these as single line comments. And if I want to use more than once, okay, multiple line comments, let's assume that multi-line comment. In that case, you try to use single line comments and you make it as multi-line comment. Okay, so this is about what to call it as comments, single line comment. And if, okay, if I am interested in multi-line comments are represented with the help of, now let's assume that this is my another code. Okay, so in this code, I'm interested in giving some lines. Let's assume that L1, I'm interested in giving L2, line 3, line 4, this much explanation is there. So you use triple quotes 3 times, sorry, double quotes 3 times in the beginning of the line and in the ending of the line. Double quotes 3 times. Okay, so this representation is called as multi-line comments, or even I can write, okay, even I can bring single line, single single quotes, sorry, single quotes 3 times. Okay, so this is how to represent C1. C1 is nothing but the representation of single line comment. And if I am interested in multi-line comments, double quotes you write 3 times. Okay, triple double quotes. Okay, and even you can bring triple single quotes. So this to be used in the beginning of the line and ending of the line. So this is about what to call it as using comments into the program. Okay, so comments are used for giving explanation to the code. Okay, if I want to give some sort of explanation to the code, then I can use what to call it as comments. Comments will be ignored when the programs are getting tested. So for representing any type of comment, I can use either single line or either double line, multi-line. For giving single line commands, we have to use hash keyword. And this hash key, that we'll call it as a single line comment. Okay, so where can I use single line comment? Before the line, after the line, at the end of the line. That is what we call it as single line comments. And in any case, if I am interested in using multi-line comments with the help of single line, then you have to use more than one time. Okay, hash, 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 and in that way you can represent. And multi-line comments can be represented either with the help of single or double quotes triple times at the beginning and at the end of the comment. That is about what to call it as so-called comments. Okay, now we'll come into very important topic, that is nothing but called as a variable. Okay, what do you mean by a variable? Can anyone give me answer for that? What is a variable?
Store some value in it.
Okay, it will try to store some value in it. Now, if I ask a question, what is a variable? Before that, my question is, what is a sugar container? Okay, so what do you mean by sugar container? It will try to store sugar in a particular container. It means what is happening there? We are trying to store sugar in a box. So that entirely we call it as sugar container. Simultaneously, Python variable is nothing but it is a container. So container is nothing but it is trying to store something. So now what it is going to store? If I am saying it as a sugar container, I'll store sugar. If I am saying coffee container, it has a coffee. Like that, same way, what we have to store in a variable. I can store a single value or either I can store multiple values. Okay, we'll discuss in deep when we are talking about single as well as multi storage and all the stuff. Okay, so now whenever we are talking about this container, very important thing that we have to think is, suppose example, now X is nothing but a container. Let's assume now X is nothing but a container, and now what it is storing here? What it is storing?
Number 5.
5, 6.
Okay, X is a container which is storing 5. It means X is nothing but container which is storing a number. Y is nothing but Y contains 6. So what does Y? Y is nothing but a container which is storing a number. Now, what is Z? Z is nothing but it is storing some string. Okay, so strings can be represented either single quote, either in the double quote. Okay, you can use any of the case. Okay, single quote, double quotes for storing string. It means what I want to store. See, variables are used for storing either numbers or either we can try to store what to call it as the strings into it. Okay, so that is about what to call it as the variable. Now, whenever we are talking about this, suppose now I'll remove all these things. Okay, now another important property with the variable is I can bring the variables in outputting the variable. Outputting in the sense, if I want to display in the output, even I can bring variables into the picture. Okay, so now here print X, what does it will print? Okay, print X will simply print me 5, and print Z will print me hello. It means what is happening? I'm storing the value in 5. Okay, and I'm assigning the value in X. Okay, the storing the value 5 in X. And whenever I want to use 5 instead of 5, what I'm doing? I'm simply taking the variable and I'm trying to use it. Okay, so that is about what to call it as a variable. Now, whenever we are talking about this particular variables, another important thing will come into the pictures. Now, unlike other programming languages, now how do I know it as a number? Numbers in the sense, according to us, okay, according to us, what is x here? X is nothing but 5. I already said you that it is a number. And now if I'm saying y, what is y? Y is nothing but 5.5. It is a number. Now numbers are categorized into, in our case, we have 3 type of numbers. One is integer, one is float, and one is what to call it as complex number. Now, like other programming language, do we now what is the data type of x here? If I am asking you what is the data type of x, what will be your answer? Definitely, you will say an answer that it is an integer. Now, are we assigning any here? Am I assigning? Yeah, x is an integer. Okay, so here no need of giving declare. Once you are trying to assign a value, okay, now let's assume this is a variable and the 5 is nothing but a value. So whenever you are trying to assign a value to the variable, then the data type of the variable is defined. Okay, so this is one of the important feature in Python, whereas other programming languages you have to define what is the data type, right? So here we no need to define the data type. Once we are trying to assign a value to the variable, then the data type is defaultly defined. Now, if I go with y, now I have assigned 5.5. So it means once I'm assigning it, the value y, so the value to the y, then the data type y is nothing but it is called as a float. Okay, so in this way, we no need to define or we no need to give the data type for that particular variable. Okay, so that is about what to call it as the variables. Okay, so variables are used for storing. Okay, variables are used for storing some value. That can be single value or multiple value. Single value we'll see now, multiple values we'll discuss later, right? So whenever I'm talking about a single value, I am not defining any data type for them. Value, so whatever the value that I'm assigning to the variable, immediately the data type of the variable is defined. Okay, which is not there in other programming language, whereas in Python that is possible, right? So that is about what to call it as the variables. Now, important thing we will be talking about is, now is it that all the time I have to declare the variable only x is equal to 5? Or suppose example, now if I want to define the age, okay, if I want to define the age of mine, my age is 35. Now, can I define it as x? Or can I define in any other way? Now, suppose example, I have given a is equal to 35 or a is equal to 35. I can give in any form. Okay. So what I want to say is, let's try to define some rules for defining the name of the variable. Okay. So how to define the name of the variable? I'm not talking about the values here. I'm talking about this a and I'm talking about this age. Now, how to define or what are the rules that are there for defining the name for a particular variable? Okay, so the very first rule that is nothing but, okay, so I think I have to start using commands. The very first rule is nothing but, okay, the variable name can be short name or descriptive name. Okay, short name means a is equal to 35. Descriptive name is nothing but a is equal to 35. A variable name can be short name, yeah, descriptive name. That is a first rule. Okay, so all the rules are even available in my what to call it as PPTs. Okay, so you can go through that. And another, the second rule, what is the second rule that we are saying is, the second rule is, okay, now I will first define the rule, then I'll go with this. Okay, I'll take these two examples again. Okay, a is equal to 35 or underscore a is equal to 35. It means what I can do is a variable name. The second rule is a variable name in the beginning of the letter. Okay, the starting of the letter can be a letter or it can be underscore. It cannot be other than this. It cannot be anything. Okay, the beginning of the line can be either like this or Okay, it can be short name, descriptive name, it can be anything. Okay, but only thing is the first letter of the name. Okay, it can be either a letter or like this underscore. So that is the second rule. Okay, what is the second rule? Second rule says a variable name must start either with a letter or underscore. That is our second rule. And third rule is nothing but, okay, the second rule is start. Okay, that will be easily for us to identify. Okay, and the third rule is cannot start with letter. Sorry, cannot start with number. Okay, we should not start with a number like this. Maybe 5 is equal to 5a is equal to 35 and all that stuff, because it is violating the rule number 2. According to the rule number 2, what it says, the beginning of the variable name should be either a letter or underscore. Okay, so you cannot start with a number. Okay, and a variable name can contain alphanumerical characters or underscore. So what does that mean? The fourth rule is a variable name, okay, can contain. Okay, I'm not talking about the starting letter, I'm talking about contain. Can contain, okay, alphanumerical characters. Alphanumerical characters are underscore. So alphanumerical characters will be from A to Z, capital, small, 0 to 9, anything can be there. It means what is the example is, it can be like this. Okay, so A is equal to 35, age is equal to 35, underscore age equal to 35, and even it can be like this. Okay, A2, okay, A1 is equal to 35, age 1 is equal to 35, underscore age is equal to 35, like this. It can be anything. Okay, it can contain anything, but only thing is the starting letter. Okay, the starting letter, I'm worried about only the starting letter. Okay, so in between it can be anything, I'm not bothered about it. In between as well as in the ending, I'm not bothered about anything. Okay, so this is about what to call it as a variable name contains alphanumerical character, yeah, underscore. And the last rule, that is the fifth rule, is nothing but case sensitivity. Okay, case sensitivity. What do you mean by case sensitivity? A is equal to 35 is different than capital A is equal to 35, or age is different than this age. Okay, everything is different. Okay. Okay, so these are nothing but these are the some of the rules for defining the name of a variable. Okay, so how do I define? The first thing is the name of the variable can be short name or descriptive name. The second rule is the variable name, whatever the variable name we are saying, the starting letter, it has to start with a letter or underscore. Okay, it can start with a letter or underscore. And the third rule is it cannot contain or it cannot start with a number. Okay, and the fourth rule is it can contain alphanumerical characters, yeah, underscore. Contain, I'm not talking about beginning and ending. Okay, and last one is Python follows case sensitivity rule for what to call it as the variables. So all these are nothing but these are the sum of the what to call it as examples for defining the name of a variable. Any doubt here?
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
No,
So
sir.
now let's go. Okay, now let's go with another important topic, which is very interesting actually. I'll remove this. NP. Okay. Now, suppose example, x is equal to something called as apple is there. Y is equal to banana is there. Z is equal to something called as orange. Okay. Now, if I'm saying print x, okay. So now what will be the output of this? The output of this is Apple, banana, orange.
Orange.
Right? Apple, banana, and orange. This will be the output. Now, if I'm talking about this, how many lines of code are here? I have 6 lines of code. Right? So now what I can do is we can try to, already we said that we can try to reduce the lines of code. So here what we can do is we can try to go with a rule called as multiple variables can be assigned in a single line. Okay, so what does that mean is, suppose example x comma y comma z, these are the 3 variables. I can assign all 3 variables in a single line, but make sure that we use the separator that is nothing but called as comma. Okay, so you can use in this way. See, x is x, y, and z. Okay, so x, y, z, apple, banana, and orange. So this is how we can even try to reduce the lines of code. Okay, so we can try to assign multiple variables in a single line. Now, what is very important thing that you have to define over here is, suppose example, if I have 3 variables, definitely I need to have 3 values. Suppose example, if I am not giving this value. Okay, so what happens is it will throw an error. Okay, so error in that sense, it is saying make sure that 3 variables are there. You have to go with 3 values, and simultaneously in this case also. Okay, 2 variables, but unfortunately you have assigned 3 values. So make sure that you are coming out of this. Okay, equal number of variables with equal number of values should be there. Okay, so that is the one of the important property in, yes.
Can we use all these XYZ in a single print line?
Yeah, that also you can use. I'm coming to that. I'll come to that. Okay, right? And okay, so now when another, I mean, what is the property over here is, the property is multiple variables are stored with multiple variables along with their values are stored in a single line. Now, another thing I can do, there may be chances that I have, okay, multiple values, but I want to use in multiple places. I mean, sorry, a single, sorry, not this one.
Assigning same value to this one.
Okay, so I have a single value where the single value can be given to multiple variables. I mean, I want to use in different blocks. So in that particular case, even I can use in this way. Okay, single value for multiple variables. So this is also possible in what to call it as Python programming language. So all this makes Python what to call it as more popular. Okay, and suppose example you see here, now let's assume I have a code like this, x is equal to apple, and again I can use in the print statement. So for using as an output variable, even for outputting some data, Python variables also can be used. Now what is the point over here is, okay, suppose example, suppose x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 6. Now what will be the output of this? Print x plus y. The output is nothing but 11. Right? Now suppose example, I have something called as a, okay, and I have something called as b. What will be the output of this?
A plus B.
Is concatenating. It means whenever you are taking numbers, it is considering as arithmetic operator. Whenever you are taking strings, it is taking it as concatenating operator. Okay, so both the things are possible. But what is not possible is, suppose one particular thing is a variable, and sorry, one is x is equal to a and y is equal to 5. In that particular case, it is not accepted. Okay, so this only one thing that we have to worry, right? So if both the things are numbers, it is considering it as arithmetic operator. I mean, simply say both the values, whenever we are trying to concatenate or add, make sure that both the data types should be same. If one is in one data type and another data type, in that particular case, it will throw an error. So these are nothing but these are some of the rules that we talk for the variables. Okay. Now, what if I ask a question data type? Now, what are the different data types that are available in Python? That is very important actually. The different data types that are available in Python, the first data type that is nothing but called as a numeric data type, which everyone knows, integer, float, complex, that we have seen. Okay. And another data type that is nothing but either Boolean or binary. These are also have been seen in other programming languages. But whereas in Python is becoming little bit what to call it as very interesting. The reason over here is these three data types, that is nothing but numeric data type, sequence data type, mapping data type, and set data type. These are not available in any other programming language, whereas in Python it is available. Okay, Python we have sorry, even numeric is also available. Sorry, numeric type is available, and we don't have these three types, that is sequence, mapping, and these are the three different data types that are not available in any other programming language, whereas in Python this particular programming languages are available. Okay, so I'll not concentrate more on text numeric data types. Let me go to directly, that is nothing but sequence and all the data types, because these numbers and all the time you can simply see from what to call it as the slides. Okay, only one thing that I want to talk over here is if I am interested in knowing the data type of a particular variable. Okay, if I am interested in knowing the data type, so I have to use something that is nothing but called as type function. Type of x. Suppose example, if I am interested in knowing the type of x, then we have to use a method that is nothing but called as type function. Okay, type of x. Then what is the data type of x? It will simply say me the class is a string, right? That is nothing but how to know the data type of a particular variable. Now suppose example, if I am saying x is equal to 5, the data type of it is nothing but integer. Okay, so now what will be the data type of this? X is equal to double quotes 5. Okay, it is string. The reason is anything you represent in double quotes or single quotes, everything will be considered as a string. It is not either number or something. Okay, if you are representing anything in double quotes, it will be considered as a string. Okay, so those are nothing but those are the simple basic data types. Now let me go with important concept that is nothing but called as Python collections. Okay, now why do we go for Python collections? Now previously we have seen one value storage, but whereas if I am interested in storing multiple values, then in that particular case I have to go with arrays. Okay, if I am storing a variable can store single value or a variable can store multiple values. If it is storing multiple values, then we call it as an array. Now, my question is, does Python support arrays?
So does Python?
Can you please?
Does Python support arrays?
Yes.
Or does?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Answer is yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, the answer is no. Python does not support the concept. The Python does not bring arrays into the picture, but we can use something called as Python collections. Okay. So we don't have arrays in Python. Instead, we have something called as Python collections. So with the help of Python collections, we can bring arrays into the picture. Okay, so Python concept is not there. I mean, see the Python concept in the sense we can bring with some other thing. With the help of Python collections, we can bring the concept of arrays into the picture. Okay, so now what are these Python collections? So Python collections are nothing but list, tuple, set, and dictionary. These are the newly added data types in Python. Okay, So the newly added data types in Python, those are nothing but called as list, tuple, set, and dictionary. These are the newly added data types. Okay. So now I'll go directly to a question, that is, suppose x is equal to, okay. Now what may be the reason behind this? Okay. Now suppose example, I have a variable x is equal to 1, 2. What is the data type of it? Other programming languages. X is equal to 1 and 2. What is the data type of it?
Integer.
Okay, integer. Suppose example, y is equal to, let me write here. Okay. Okay. Maybe let's assume that x is equal to a variable where we are storing multiple values, that is 1 and 2. Now, suppose example, simultaneously, I have another variable that is nothing but y is equal to, sorry. Okay. Now, what is the data type of y?
String.
String array.
What is the data type of z?
Integers, two different data types.
Okay. So this is not possible, right? This is possible in any other programming languages?
No.
These two things are possible. X is equal to 1 and 2. It means whenever we are trying to store multiple values in a variable, all the values should be of same data type. Okay, same data type. That is there in other programming language. But whereas in Python, that is not there. You can bring multiple data types in a single variable. So for that particular reason, we don't have a concept called as arrays in the picture. So what we have to do, we have to bring the concept that is nothing but called as Python collections. So there are 4 categories of Python collections. One is list, second one is tuple, the third one is set, and the fourth one is dictionary. Okay, list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Now you just remember only these words. Okay, I'll give you explanation regarding that later. But just keep in mind, what is the main difference between list, tuple, set, and dictionary? If someone is asking you, just list is nothing but it is ordered, it is changeable, it allows duplicate. Okay, that is list. Now tuple is ordered, unchangeable, allows duplicate members. Okay, if I ask you what is the difference between list and tuple, you can say list is changeable, whereas tuple is unchangeable. Okay, like that, you just see the screen later. Now let me define the words. What is ordered? What is changeable? What do you mean by duplicate numbers and all the stuff? Okay. So let me go to the Python collection, the very first Python collection, that is nothing but called as list. Okay. So now what I want to say again to you is, you see what is the main difference between all these things? Only one word, right? List changeable, tuple unchangeable, set unordered, and here is no duplicate. Dictionary, no duplicate, changeable, unordered. It means you see all the words are common. Okay. So keeping this in mind, what I'm going to do is I'll not be explaining all the data types. Okay. Because only a little bit of change is there. But okay, the main thing I'll be mainly concentrating only on list. Okay. I'll talk about list so that you can refer tuple, set, and dictionary, because that is there is no much change in it. Okay. So let me go to the list. What is a list? Lists are used for storing multiple values in a single variable. Okay, so that is what actually the either list, tuple, dictionary, or whatever the data types or Python collections we are saying. All the Python collections are used for storing multiple values in a single variable. Now, the first difference, that is the representation. Python list is represented with the help of square bracket. Okay, so lists are represented with the square brackets. Okay, and tuples are represented with the help of flower brackets. Okay, so I think I have not kept those particular. Okay, so tuples are represented with the help of round brackets. whereas set are represented with the help of curly brackets. Okay, curly brackets. Okay, so now those are the representations, and dictionary are also represented with the help of curly brackets. Okay, the representation is different. Okay, so square brackets, round brackets, curly brackets, and again curly bracket. That one difference is there. Okay, so now when it is coming, right? So what does that mean? If I'm talking about list, now X is a list. So if I want to represent a list, what I have to use? I have to use, okay, square brackets,
Square bracket.
bracket. And in that, suppose example, if I am using something like 5, comma 6, comma 7. So what is the main thing is represent with the help of curly square bracket and make sure that each and every item is separated with the help of comma. That is very important. Okay. Now X is equal to that. Now suppose example. Now what is Y? Y is nothing but if I am using round brackets, okay, 1, 2, 3, it means this representation is nothing but tuple. Okay. Z is equal to, okay, Z is equal to, right, 7, 8, 9. So this representation is nothing but called as
Set.
Okay, right? And dictionary will talk when the dictionary topic will come. So now these are nothing but these are the different representations, right? So am I worried about what is the value inside? I'm not worried about what is the value inside. I'm just worried about only the representation. Okay, square brackets, round brackets. Now, if I want to take the data type of it, what is the data type of X now? Can anyone tell me what is the data type of X?
List. List. Integers.
Integer.
Data type is integer. It's a list.
List only will come.
Okay. So now, now here we are not, because even list, tuple, dictionary, these are also built-in data types. Okay. So now I'm not bothered about what is inside. I'm bothered about only the representation. If I talk about the representation, this representation will simply tell me it is nothing but it is list. X is nothing but list. Y is nothing but tuple. Z is nothing but dictionary set. Okay. So representation is list, tuple, and set. Okay. Don't even get. I'm not bothered. What may be the data? Let's see about what type of data inside and all the stuff later. But just worry about only the representation. Okay. Now data type, I know it. Now I'm very happy with it. Now what is my next thing is, what is very important thing that I am worried about is what is called as ordered property, or what may be duplicate. Suppose now you see print X. Okay, so now I'm saying print X. What will be the output? The output is nothing but 5, 6, 7. Okay, right? So I'll make this as strings. This will look little bit good. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. Now the output of this is A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now let me take this. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Let me take this. Okay, now let's assume this one A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so now what is the property called as ordered? See, ordered property is nothing but, okay, indexing. We have two type of indexing. One is called as positive indexing and the second one is called as negative indexing. So whenever we are talking about this indexing property, so positive indexings are represented with the help of let me again change my sign. Positive indexings are represented with the help of plus sign. Defaultly it is a blank or plus sign. Negative indexings are represented with the help of negative, this one, okay, minus. Now whatever we are talking positive indexing and negative indexing, see, positive indexing will begin from the starting and will go till the ending of the list, okay, whereas negative indexing will start from end of the list and will go till start. It means the positive indexing will begin in this way, okay, starting to ending. This is positive indexing, whereas negative indexing will begin from ending, okay, will go to the starting. So now positive indexing and negative indexing. Now another important property will come into the picture, that is nothing but now positive indexing will begin from 0, 1 and so on. Okay, so the first value, this is 0, this is location 1, memory locations 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, whereas negative indexing, this will begin from 1, minus 1, minus 2 and so on. Okay, in this way, this is the representation of indexing. Okay, so we have two type of indexing. One is positive indexing, the second one is a negative indexing. In the positive indexing, the index value will begin from 0 and so on, and in the negative indexing, the values will begin from minus 1 and so on. Okay, so this is what to call it as indexing. Now when I know this particular property, now what is ordered property? Now let's see this particular example. Now if I am running this output, now what is output of this code? You see, whatever the order that I have given, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, in the same order the values are coming. Okay, so this is nothing but called as ordered property. Okay, which is there for what? Which is there for, it is available for which? It is available for list. Okay, suppose example, if I am taking, if I am changing this to so-called a tuple. Okay, so for the tuple also, we are following the ordered property A, B, C, D, E, F. But whereas if I'm talking about set, okay, if I'm talking about set, sets are unordered property. It means that whatever the order that we are giving, may be or may not be, output will be same. So now you see, one time I have executed, it is E, F, D, A, B, and C. Now again I'm executing this. The second time the values may change. Again I'm executing, every time the new order will come. So we are not following indexing over there. So that is what we call it as ordered property. Ordered property means whatever the indexing values or whatever the values that are stored in some location, the same location, the same order, the values have to come. That is there either in list as well as in the tuple. But whereas in the, what to call it as set, that particular property is not available. All the time, the new memory locations, the values will be stored in the new memory locations. Okay, so that is about what to call it as the property ordered as well as unordered property. Okay, now changeable. Changeable means, sir?
Sir, for tuple it's ordered.
Yes. For tuple it is ordered.
And for set it is unordered.
Yes, for set it is unordered. Okay, list is ordered, tuple is ordered, set is unordered. Now list is unchangeable. Sorry, list is changeable, tuple is unchangeable. What does that mean? See, once the list is created, this is created, you cannot add new elements, or you cannot delete any elements. That is called as unchangeable property. Okay, so changeable means once the list is created, you can add or you can remove any elements from it. Okay, once the list is created, you can add or you can remove some elements from it. That particular property, we call it as changeable. Once list is created and you cannot add or you cannot remove elements, then that particular property, we call it as
When somebody is not on mute and his family is speaking a lot, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself.
Okay, so that particular property, okay, once the list is created or anything is created, if the values are getting changed, then it is unchangeable. If the values are changeable means once a list is created, you can add elements or you can remove elements. That property we call it as changeable. Unchangeable means we cannot add or we cannot remove elements from it. That particular property we call it as unchangeable. Okay, and another property is called as duplicate members. Duplicate members in the sense I can have like this A, B, C, D, and even I can have A, comma, B. This particular thing can be done. So this is possible in both the cases. Either this particular property is possible in list as well as this particular property is possible in tuple. But whereas in set it is not possible. No duplicate members. Okay, but why it is no duplicate members? Because every time the new memory locations are coming. Okay, whereas in set this duplicate set or as well as tuples, the duplicate members are allowed. Because see, first A have 0 location, 1 location, 2 location, 3 location, and 5 location. So first A is in 0th location and the last A is in the 5th location. Because of that particular property, the duplicate things are allowed in list as well as in tuple, whereas this is not available in set. Okay, so I think it's time to leave today. If anything is there, definitely I'll take tomorrow one more session so that I can cover little bit of Python topics. I'll request your organizer to give me at least 1 hour so that I can cover list something tomorrow. Let's see. Any doubt till here?
No doubt, sir.
No, sir. Sir, one doubt.
Yes.
I have doubt, sir. You were saying that x
is
comma
no longer being
z
recorded.
equal to apple comma banana, and if we do not give any value to z, then error will be there.
Yeah, if you are not using Python collections, definitely error will be there. If you are using Python collections, error will not be there.
No, sir, I am asking that you gave one question that x comma y comma z equal to apple comma banana, and if you do not assign any value to z,
x is equal to apple
x comma y comma z.
In a single line, x comma y comma z is equal to apple comma banana. But he was talking about your
And if we do not give any value to z.
That's what I'm coming to you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, others can leave. If you have work, others can leave. I will take doubts for another 5 minutes and I even close this. Okay.
Sir, can we get the recorded class of this and PPT?
Yes, definitely, sir. You will get it. Not an issue. You'll get it.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. PPT also we can get, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine. Okay. So I think it's time to leave. We'll meet in tomorrow's class.
Prasad, one general question. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Prasad, the list is coming to this picture in Python in this release, like in some latest release now. So why the Python people come up with this list of set of collection? I mean, they have some thing in your mind.
Yes. Sir. That's what actually previously in the first example I said. Suppose example, if this is there, okay.
That's why they come up with a lot of collection.
That's what I'll tell you why lots of collections means. Now this is not possible in any other programming language, because this thing is like I want to store multiple values in a single variable where all the values are of same data type. Okay, but suppose example, if I am asking you one question, I said I want to take your name, roll number. So for your, I just ask you to collect student data where it contains name, phone number, email ID in a single student, single data I want. Now, what will be the data type of that particular student? Roll number 1 is there, Prasad, comma, his maybe his roll number 1, 2, 3, comma, maybe his email ID. Now, what is the data values that are there for this roll number 1? Multiple values are there. Okay, so keeping multiple values of different data types. So such type of things I want to introduce. One thing. Another thing
this
is
correct in Python. Even the list is not allowing. I suppose that if we make it as this thing is applicable. Like this is the list.
Yes, it is applicable.
In Python is it possible? We can print this.
Yes. That is what actually the importance of Python, sir. That is what there in Python. Okay, now the reason, you may ask me another reason, sir. Then okay, I accepted multiple data types in a single variable. Fine. Now why do I need
this data type can accept the float number, double float? Like
yes,
this?
anything, any data types. That's the reason I said you in the previous, you don't worry about what is the data inside. You worry about only what the values are. Don't worry about it. Even you can bring list in a list. Okay, all these things are there. We'll discuss deep in tomorrow's class. Not an issue.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Then please tomorrow continue on Zoom app only.
Yeah, I think today is a combination of all your classes. Maybe tomorrow I have to go to Python and separately AI, ML and DL. Let's see. Anyway, let's plan tomorrow's class. We'll talk with the coordinator. Fine?
Sir, I am saying Zoom app only.
Zoom app? We'll try.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes. We'll try to sort this out. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So when you tried addition of strings.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for such an informational and knowledgeable session on one of the most popular and widely used programming languages in the world, that is Python. Your way of teaching, along with clearing doubts of the participants, has surely provided a strong conceptual clarity to the attendees. Thank you for taking our time. I would also like to extend a vote of thanks to all the participants for joining in today. We hope that today's sessions proved to be fruitful for you. The information about tomorrow's sessions will be shared shortly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.